Welcome everyone to a new episode of Incognito, where we talk about the darkest secret, the intimacy killer, and the way to freedom. I'm your host, Bashoy, and we have my co-host,
Rami.
How are you doing today, Rami?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Dude, I never asked you that before the episode.
We should start by asking each other how we're doing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
How are you doing, Rami?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm glad you're doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah, people probably hate us right now.
Why? Because we spent the time. We didn't do this before recording.
Whatever. Again, welcome everyone. Like we discussed the last episode, we talked about a thread, or a thread that was a thread on Twitter. It was taken out a minute before the episode. And this time we're going to continue talking about like random articles. We talked about violence and how pornography can lead to violence. We talked about the effect on children pretty much and how they think. We talked about how it affects relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're going to take a different route. We're going to be talking about human trafficking. We're going to be talking about some parental advice. Again, we're not professional, but we're using articles from professionals. So what we do is we share trusted information. And last but not least, we're going to give you some stats because that's what always people look for. People love numbers. And finally, we're going to talk about some brain development, or not really talk about it, but will lead you to the right article to read when it comes to brain development for kids and pornography. So, since we talked about physical aggression, the last episode, it really comes with no surprise to me that violence is a very normal result to watching pornography, because 88% of the scenes in porn films contain acts of physical aggression. 49 of them have verbal aggression. I mean, I don't expect difference. But here's the stat that I want to see your opinion about, Rami. Only 7% of pastors/priests report their church has a ministry program for those struggling with pornography. Do you think it's the church's job to have a program to struggling with porn? Or do you think confession is enough? Do you think confession is part of it? Or do you think it should be handled by professionals or psychologists?
By confession, you obviously mean the private talks between the father of confession and a sinner. And
the confessor. Yes.
The confessee.
Confessor.
The confessor?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Whatever.
So, let me ask you a different question. Does the church have programs for pre-marriage?
Yes.
Do they have programs for service, like how to serve?
Yes.
Do they have conventions, how to be better Christians for all ages?
Yeah, Sunday school,
but also conventions for... Yeah. Right?
Oh, conventions. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
And Sunday school is part of it. Too. In order to serve in Sunday school, you got to go to pre-servants.
Yes.
They have all kinds of services as a church, and we're very proud for this. But we're very proud of all of our churches and all over the world for having programs like these,
correct,
right? Because they prepare young men and women to function in the world as Christians and also how to serve in the church better. So, let me ask you this. Does pornography negatively impact how we live in the world and how we serve each other?
100%.
So I believe the church should dedicate efforts and programs to sex education and pornography education.
Yeah, this was not an ad, by the way. I promise to you. It just played out this way. If you think you're struggling with porn addiction, if you think you need help and you're really in desperate need of help, before you reach out to us, go check the Southern Diocese of the Southern United States Diocese website. They have a program of to help people with all sorts of addiction, pornography included. And this, what Abuna Tedros was in charge of, I think about 5 years ago. and we interviewed him in the past episode or the episode before. So go check it out. It's on the website. If you can't find their contact info, reach out to us. We're gonna be able to help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I promise you that wasn't an ad. I wasn't just trying to play this out. It just happened very naturally.
No, I know. Yeah. I know because you're spitting fire. So
ooh,
that's fine.
Thanks.
No, but I really do feel that, man. I really do feel a ministry program for anybody struggling with pornography is really important in the church, because in an environment that is, a holy environment with the right people and right dedicated servants, it would do tremendous. It would have a tremendous positive impact on our children and Christian adults.
Yeah.
Because right now, if I wasn't listening to this podcast, I'm not saying that, we're breaking grounds here and we're doing things that nobody has ever done, but we're contributing to this type of education.
Yes.
At least, God willing, we are. If I'm an adult living in America, Egyptian or not, Christian or not, right? And I have this problem. And let's say by the grace of God, I come to the conclusion that it is a problem. And now I'm looking for help. I don't know where to go. It's not commonly known that churches help with this.
That's true.
It's actually commonly known that this is something hidden, quote unquote, hidden, taboo.
Or becoming very acceptable now that, hey, it's not wrong.
It's not a problem.
It's
this is healthy.
Yeah.
There are some people who say this is healthy.
You know that 55% of adults think porn is wrong? That means 45% think porn is okay.
Yeah.
Just speaking of what you're saying now.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So I'm sure the majority of the people around, or even a minority of people in the world, but maybe the majority of the people that I know thinking this isn't a problem. Pornography. So if I'm looking for help, I don't know where to go. If anything, I'm being told, don't worry about it. You don't have a problem.
Yeah. Do you think not recycling is worse or pornography is worse? Which one is worse? Not recycling or watching pornography?
You just caught me off guard with that. I don't know. Pornography is worse.
Well, but when
you're asking me, that's my opinion.
That's your opinion, yeah, I guess. Yeah, because you
better make a good connection.
Teens and young adults between 13 and 24 actually believe that not recycling is worse than viewing pornography. Do you think that? I don't know, man. I can see why some people.
Recycling is overrated.
Oh my God! People who love nature are gonna hate you right now.
We're anti-porn and anti-recycling.
We just lost some audiences here.
We're anti-porn and we're anti-recycling.
Hey, talk about yourself. I'm not anti-recycling.
Just kidding.
Hey, but I'm not saying that like.
But you said 13 to 24.
Yeah,
they believe that not
recycling is worse than viewing pornography.
I say that statistic is probably due to the fact
that media talks about climate change more than they talk about the harms of pornography.
And they're just locally. Let's just go locally. It's not readily available to you to have this type of education. You're everywhere you are locally, just locally, which makes this worse, by the way.
Yeah.
School, even church, right? We don't talk about it.
We don't.
So you just assume it's okay. You assume it's a private thing to do. Like going to the bathroom. This is just my own private thing. Nobody has anything to do with it. So that's why I believe that a statistic like that exists, that there are people that think not recycling is worse than pornography.
Yeah. Here's a stat on marriage. Remember when we said that divorce attorneys said 62% of last episode, we said 62% of divorce attorneys think that pornography is a very contributing factor to why to like their cases. Here's what Covenant Eye says. 68% of divorce cases involve the one-party meeting a new lover over the internet. That starts with pornography, by the way.
Right, yeah.
68. That's very close to 62. It just tells me that this number is actually very accurate. That's what it tells me.
Right.
And 56% involved one party having an obsessive interest in pornographic website. But also 56% is pretty gay. There's a quote that I really... it really kind of touched hard. Hit hard. Well, what am I saying today? Oh, my God. I need an English lesson.
You're tired.
Yeah. No, I need an English lesson.
You definitely do, yes.
Yeah, that's very true. Dr. Marianne Layden, she said this. I have also seen in my clinical experience that pornography damages the sexual performance of the viewers. Pornography viewers tend to have problems with premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction. Having spent so much time in unnatural sexual experience with paper, cyberspace, they seem to find it difficult to have sex with a real human being. Pornography is raising their expectation and demand for types and amounts of sexual experience. At the same time, it is reducing their ability to experience sex.
Mm-hmm.
And when she says to experience sex, actually, you know what? This is exactly what we were talking about in the brain on porn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Because when your brain is not as fast as how things are evolving now.
Right.
Right? And actually, yeah, that brings up a good point. When we talked about evolution, as a church, by the way, we do not believe in macroevolution. So if you tell me that cat became a dog, I'm not going to believe you. We don't believe in that. But if you tell me the giraffe neck was short, but because they need to eat and they have to go up the trees, their neck became longer, we believe in that.
Right.
And
Which is a big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. Microevolution versus macroevolution.
Yes.
The church isn't against microevolution,
Mm-hmm.
but we do not believe in macroevolution. Actually, I don't want to. I love this topic. I don't want to go towards it. But here's the thing. Even if you think about it, if someone tells you they believe in evolution, they said it right. They believe in evolution. Evolution isn't a fact. Because here's the thing. Anything to be scientifically proven, it has to be built on observation. So if you didn't see it, it didn't happen. That's why some scientists have trouble believing in creation, because they haven't seen it. But because they can't have peace with the creation part, what they did was what? Created another thing that they have never seen either. Evolution. But they have never seen creation nor evolution. But they want to believe in evolution, because they have seen microevolution, which is the bird peak and the island. We all know about that.
Right. Yeah.
We all know about that. We learned about it in school and undergrad.
This is fascinating what you're saying right now.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm very fascinated.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You're surprised because you're never fascinating.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is crazy. No one ever told me that.
Right, yeah.
But
It's hard to be quiet. I'm just listening.
yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, Rami.
Keep going, ya habibi. Don't
but
get
yeah,
a big
anyways,
head.
No, I got already a big head. Come on. Like, that's not even a discussion here. But I made the point I was trying to say. It's just like the idea of like science means observation. So if someone they believe in evolution, they use the word, right? Believe. It's a belief. It's faith.
Right.
Just like creation. Is there any proof that creation happened? No. And if someone tells you that, they are lying. That evolution, is there any proof to evolution? No. And if someone tells you that, they are lying. That's the part of the faith and belief that we have as Christians. Creation happened. How do I know that? God said so. That's it. That's it.
Right. So.
But yeah, going back to pornography.
Yeah, to sort of bring it all the way.
Going back to pornography. I don't know how did we start doing that? Oh yeah, because we were talking about the brain and microevolution, and we wanted to make sure that you guys understand when we said the brain evolving in the brain on porn episode, that we didn't mean macroevolution, we meant microevolution.
Right. Okay. So bringing it back around, because there was a relation here to brain on porn. You were gonna say.
Like pretty much like what she said in the quote, like when she said that when you are having this in porn, you pretty much have the expectation, right? And because you have that very high expectation and it comes so easy in your hand, you have a demand for it. When you go to real life and you can't find what you had been looking for, your sexual ability decrease.
Right.
It's a very basic, logical consequence of what you went through.
Right, and it increases your desire for just simply sex as a carnal thing, as a carnal lust. And what's damaging here is that there's a statistic here, right on the same topic that we're on. 70% of wives, right, of sex addicts. So. Wives of sex addicts, 70% of them, there could be diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic
syndrome disorder, is it called?
Something like that. Post-traumatic. Let's look it up.
PTSD. We know, like
PTSD.
something bad happened to you and you keep remembering it. Like
Right.
what happens in Soldiers in War.
Right.
Something like
PTSD. Excuse my ignorance, but you'll look it up for me.
Yeah.
But 70% of them, of wives of sex addicts, could be diagnosed with PTSD. 70% is a high number. You know,
Stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder.
thank you, Pshoy. So, this occurs because obviously when we're talking about a sex addict, we're talking about a person who is demanding things that they've probably seen or fantasized about in a video. And now they're expecting this to become reality, which is completely impossible for a person like your wife or maybe your husband as well, but specifically your wives, to meet that expectation. It's very impossible.
Yeah.
Right? Because what you see on the video is fake. It's not real.
True.
Whatever you're desiring, this is not a real thing.
Yes.
So not only is it damaging to yourself, but it's only damaging to whoever you're trying to impose it on.
Yeah. No. See, I fascinated you twice, by the way.
You fascinated me
with
twice.
the PTSD.
I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just kept quiet.
you know I'm going to hang on to that for a while. Now moving on to another one, and this is the part that I think is the favorite part in this episode and the previous one, is pretty much what parents should do. I'm not a parent myself, but if you're a parent out there, this article might help you. It is titled "The Terminal Effects of Pornography on Small Children." That was published in 2017, so pretty recent, December of 2017, so pretty much like 3 years ago. Here's what it says: pornography addiction is a worry for 10% of 7th graders. How old is a 7th grader? Like 12?
A 7th grader, I'm trying to remember. Yeah,
12,
11,
13?
12, 13. Probably
Gosh.
12.
That's insane. That's insane. So, actually, okay, that brings up another question I wanted to ask you.
اتفضل.
And I was thinking about. Do you think we should talk, or like parents should talk to their kids about sex, and or actually we should teach kids in Sunday schools and talk to them about sex and porn in elementary or middle school? Because high school is too late. We know that.
High school is too late.
Way too late.
I think middle school is it, because if I remember correctly, when I was in elementary school, that wasn't really the conversation. At least when I was.
That was where you exactly in middle school.
Huh?
That was when you were in middle school.
The conversation when I was in elementary school didn't really revolve around.
Yeah, but right
sex
now,
and
don't you think elementary like kids
probably late elementary, like 5th grade.
Okay.
But I think middle schoolers get the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Because that's when the hormones are going.
That's very true.
So I'm looking at this from sort of like a scientific or biological perspective more than it is socially.
Yeah.
So biologically, hormones are going a lot for middle schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, puberty, you go through it, and that's where a lot of your questions are and a lot of your curiosity is between that 11, 12, 13, possibly 14.
Yeah.
So by saying that, I think that there should be efforts in the church, just like we spoke earlier. There should be a ministry, but I think it does start in the home.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
In Proverbs,
yeah.
King Solomon wrote, train up a child in the way that he should be, and when he gets older, he will not forget it, or he will not deviate from that
even
path.
If he
I'm paraphrasing.
Even if he deviate from the path, he can come back.
Right.
That's what.
Right. I'm paraphrasing, but but that's a wisdom of King Solomon.
So that even if he lost track, he can come back.
So if you want to, say how long that was written, thousands and thousands of BC.
Yeah.
So that says something right there.
Yes.
That type of education and conversation should start in the home, even before it gets to the church.
Yes. Here's the crazy part in that part when it says the worry for 10%. Here's why it's a worry for 10 of the 7th grader. 10% of children in 7th grade, I'm quoting from the study, or not the study, the article, have stated that they are watching enough porn to be concerned that they may have an addiction issue and not be able to stop. Many experts believe this is due to primary issues: mobile accessibility and desensitization at an earlier age. Desensitization at the age, wow, okay. Young people are turning into the internet to learn about sex and relationships. We know they are frequently stumbling across porn, often unintentionally, and they are telling us very clearly that this is having a damaging and upsetting effect on them. That was the founder of Childline, Dame Ether Renson said that last part. Wow.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
crazy.
even, at an early age, that what you're looking at, you get a sense, obviously these middle schoolers are saying, wow, this isn't normal. This may be an issue here. They actually feel something's off.
Yeah.
You don't go into this thinking this is absolutely wonderful. You go into it thinking, okay, this is weird.
Yeah, it's often unintentionally.
Right. No, you stumble across of it on the internet unintentionally, but there's even a feeling
the curiosity part, which God created normally in kids so that they can learn.
Right.
Now it's used in a very bad way.
Right.
And
but
the kid doesn't even know.
But there is a sense that something is off, something is wrong.
That's not enough to push them back, though.
For sure. That's the problem.
Because
the
taught.
curiosity moves you.
How many times have you said, oh, I don't feel good about it. I should follow my guts, and you didn't.
Right. But that's just a testament to how unnatural it is. That there's a feeling of it.
For sure, 100%. I agree with that. If you suspect, the second part of the article says what you should do if you suspect your child has seen porn. If you have discovered that your child has seen pornography, it is normal to feel alarmed and protective.
Which, I don't want to interrupt, but we can probably feel comfortable. I feel comfortable saying, if you're in middle school, you've experienced something.
100%. 100%.
Even if you don't,
unless you're homeschooled and you live in a bubble.
Right. Which is, But even though you haven't looked it up yourself, maybe someone showed you something.
100%.
So I feel comfortable saying that's a very high probability.
Sure. I mean, you're old enough to have Instagram. You're old enough to see porn.
You've seen something. You've seen a
You're old
picture.
enough to have Snapchat.
Yep.
I remember actually, I saw that tweet once. It was a priest, and he was telling you, he tweeted that. I'm paraphrasing. That was many years ago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know how it came to my head now. But he said something like that. He said, parents, take Snapchat away from your kids. And he signed it, a priest who listened to their confessions. I got like chills when I was reading that.
Right.
I was like, dang, that's...
Right, there's no filter on these social medias.
Yeah.
There is no filter.
You're old enough to have
social media. You're following celebrities.
Me,
you're following people who... You're following a society that is accepting this. But keep going. You were reading something good.
Yeah, I'm reading off the article this time specifically because I feel like I don't want to paraphrase anything. I just wanted to have the professional opinion right to you the way it was written to me. And we will have this link down in the description so that you can check it out whenever you want. It says prolonged exposure to pornography can have long-term damaging effects on your child. While there is nothing that can be done to help your child unsee what they have seen, the best course of action may be address their online viewing choices in an age-appropriate conversation, being careful not to overreact or choose language that may cause shame or guilt.
Very important.
And they also have, don't, because especially if they stumble on it.
Very important.
Don't shame them to that.
Very, very important.
They didn't mean it.
Right, very important. And also being mindful of the age, depending on how deep the conversation goes, because I know that, just like you said earlier, elementary schoolers, they all have iPads and iPhones and computers. Yeah. If anything, I'll tell you something. This COVID time, right? Yes. We're all sitting at home, and everybody needs a computer. Schools are literally giving out laptops to kids. Yeah. So
how many of them are protected? I wonder.
They probably are protected with something with school, but the idea is that you're already used to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the schools and the library programs block certain things, but that doesn't stop you. Mm-hmm. This technology is beyond the parental control. There's pictures that can't be blocked. Yeah. There's so many things. Yeah. But I think being mindful of that is very, very important as parents to children. I think if at home, a lot of the people that, maybe struggle with this now, maybe they receive some guidance early on. A lot of them would have said, you know what, let me just drop this because this is not looking good at all. I've even been told by mom or dad or whoever takes care of me. Yeah.
The last part of the article says, how can parents protect the child from pornography? And that's pretty much, it puts it in 4 points or 5 points. First of all, it says model positive behavior. Love this one. You want your child to emulate. Parents know that small children mimic what they watch. If your child sees love, kindness, cooperation, these traits are copied. You want your child to only watch G-rated movies. G-rated movies.
G-rated.
You don't want them to watch R-rated. Make sure those around your child, young guy, also limit the content to G-rated options on the screen. Wow.
Yeah, dude, you need to
I need to chill.
just relax, man.
Yeah, see, you got into
Not R-rated, G-rated.
My bad. G-rated.
G-rated.
Okay.
You know what? Let me just intervene here. I think a long time ago, it was in summer camp, right? And we were talking about field trips. We were gonna take the kids on field trips.
Yeah.
And someone said the movies. So we said, okay, the movies. I think some Disney Pixar movies came out, and they were PG-13, right? They weren't G-rated. They were rated G for everyone, PG-13 for 13 and up.
Yeah.
And I think I remember Abuna saying, you know what? We should probably go to a G-rated because the PG-13s now, this was around like after 2010. This was around 2015, probably 2017, 16, something like that. He said that even the PG-13 movies now allow some content in order for it to be stimulating to the 13-year-old age and above. So, but back then when I was growing up in 2006, 7, 8, PG-13 they really didn't have any of that. But as we progressing in society, not progressing, but as society goes on and more sexual content gets induced into media, the more it's become accepted at earlier ages, even just at a societal perspective. Yeah. You know what I mean? So even G-rated and PG-13 stuff has to be careful now.
Oh, that's very true.
No,
I agree. The second point was take preventative measures by locking PCs, tablets, smartphone with a safe browser or internet filter, which we discussed in the previous episode. If you're a parent, one of the best apps that people I've heard good feedbacks about is Bark. If there's anything out there that you want to try, again, go ahead and try it. Again, this is not a sponsorship or advertisement or anything like that. We're just saying, like, this is the suggestion we have. To eliminate the availability of pornography for kids and teens. To see the list of parental controls software from a third-party review website. And you can go, and there is a link there in the file that gives you a list of other programs that we've mentioned. The third point says that if the images they view are explicit and do not depict love, explain to your kids that this is not a sign of healthy and a happy relationship. That's extremely important. I can't even this third point is amazing. Explain to them age-appropriate ways to express love and affection to others.
Which is missing.
This is so important.
This is very important.
And please link it to the first one. I'm not counseling here, but I'm just taking what he's saying in the first point. Okay, if you're a parent, and if you don't show love to your significant other, your spouse, in front of your kids, they will never grow to show love to anyone they love.
Right.
To anyone around them. It won't happen.
That's what I told my parents, but they didn't listen. Just kidding.
No, but seriously though, I mean, that's the thing. If you explain to them that, hey, this is not the this is not the happy relationship, any kid wants to be happy. Actually, anyone wants to be happy. So if you just tell them, hey, this is not the healthy or happy relationship, that's it. But if they see you treat your spouse in a loving, healthy, happy relationship, and loving in a healthy way, there you go. Right. You tackled 1 and 3 in 1 point. Right. You tackled 1 and 3 in 1 action.
Right, yeah. An example at home.
Yeah, 100%.
A model.
Yes. The fourth point, it is never too soon to have a conversation on what is appropriate to share with others. If your child is old enough to understand, let them know it is illegal for them to take explicit pictures or videos, view pornography, or share pornography as a minor. Most importantly, explain to them why sexting is dangerous behavior and consequences that can come from it, including the legal ramifications. Sexting, for anyone who doesn't know, I doubt anyone doesn't know, sexting is pretty much just texting
graphic images or
it doesn't have to be even pictures.
Language.
Sexual language. It doesn't have to be pictures or videos or anything.
Right, but it includes
By educating, this is the conclusion. By educating kids on what a good relationship should be like, installing parental control software, parents are taking control of the situation. And even if their children view inappropriate content on a friend's device, they will be better prepared to handle accidentally seeing pornography without having a strong effect. This is extremely important.
Now, what I've seen
Better be safe than sorry, pretty much.
Right, for sure. But what I've seen was, this is should be just a little thing to point out, that when children or teens are denied certain access from online or just from anything really.
Yeah.
If you tell someone not to go in a room, they instantly want to go into this room.
Mm-hmm.
But in the long term, it with the right parental control without education at home means nothing.
Yeah.
It just increases the curiosity.
That's right.
Is really what I'm trying to say. If I tell someone don't touch this knife, if I tell a kid don't touch this knife because you'll cut your hand, but I don't show them how to use the knife properly, then they'll want to touch this knife even more so than before. But if I tell them you'll cut your hand and this is how you properly use it, and possibly show them what might happen if you do cut your hand, but with an example or something like that, I can say this is really sharp. Look how it cuts this vegetable. So this is how I can cut your skin. Now they see, oh no, this is really dangerous. I should stay away from this. In fact, I should be really careful. You know what I mean? So education and and having a model at home goes hand in hand with restricting access online.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, I hope that was beneficial to the parents. Again, we're gonna keep the article down in the description. The author was. It doesn't say really the name of the author. Actually, it does. Kristen something.
Kristen. You just gave up on that name.
Yeah.
Kristen McLaughlin.
Yeah. There is a study. It's very scientific. And just to give you a very, very quick layman language conclusion, what we mentioned in the Brain on Porn episode, we talked about remember we talked about the reward circuit. We talked about the frontal cortex, or pretty much the the part that makes the conscious decisions, right? And that's the gray matter. The gray matter is what is in charge of, besides being in charge of all the senses, it's also in charge of the decisions you make. Okay?
Right.
They found in MRIs, scanning the brain, that when someone is addicting to pornography, their gray matter actually gets smaller. So you become less and less of a human when you watch more pornography.
Wow.
That's just the conclusion of it. We'll keep it down. We're not going to read it much. If you're in the medical field, it's a pretty interesting study. Now moving on to a completely different topic that we haven't touched. Child pornography and human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Someone would ask us, why are we talking about it? One simple reason. If you can't be part of the solution, just don't be part of the problem. Every time, anyone, even if they don't mean to, they don't intend to, participate in human trafficking, in child pornography, anytime anyone goes on a website, a pornography website, they are participating in a way or another indirectly to support these businesses.
I'll read this quote here. It explains it beautifully, right? This is a section of the article that says what porn consumers don't know. If someone, this is just a quote right here. If someone contributed even one or a substantial amount of the 42 billion visits to one of the world's most popular free porn sites in 2019, they probably don't understand the likelihood that they might be getting aroused by images of a performer, and this is key, who didn't appear on film under their own free will. So forced. Or, in other words, sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Human sex trafficking. So, and this is not just to, specific sites only. This is the world's most popular free porn sites, plural. So even the stuff that's considered free and titled different things, and you think you're watching something else, you think you're watching something consensual, most likely you're not. Most likely.
Yeah.
So over 50% is what I'm trying to say.
That's crazy.
Even if they say on an interview or something, this is my own free will, a lot of the
Not really,
times
yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's not. And if you really want to know what sex trafficking is, like if you just had a difficult understanding of the concept, it's pretty much people who are forced to
It's pretty much being sold for sex.
Exactly. It's being
If you have ever watched Taken, that was pretty much it.
Right, the
When
movie
his
Taken.
When his daughter was
Taken.
pretty much taken.
Right.
She was abducted, and then they told him like you have 72 hours or you never see her again.
Right.
And he went out of like pretty much just on his own. He's not
an
gonna wait for
action
the
movie about
police,
him
and
saving his daughter. He pretty much went to save her from sex trafficking.
Yeah.
What they do a lot is get these people hooked on drugs,
Yeah.
and their payment is drugs,
Yes.
not money. Sometimes
'Cause
money,
you're hooked on it.
but you're hooked on drugs. They inject stuff in you, or they just force you to take drugs or whatever. You become so
Yeah.
addicted that they tell you have to go perform this scene or whatever,
Yeah.
and then after you come out, we'll give you drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean like two here stats from the NCMEC, which stands for National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This database was created in 2002, or like the organization. And they found that as of December 2012, so that was 8 years ago, okay? They found Child Victim Identification Program has reviewed and analyzed more than 80 million child pornography images since it was created back in 2002. 80 million. So in 10 years, 80 million. I can't imagine those 80 years what happened.
Right.
Here's another one that's even crazier. There has been 774% increase in the number of child pornography images and videos reviewed through the NCMEC, Child Victim Identification Program. So pretty much they started at 1.98 images/videos of 2011, okay? In 2008 they started at 8.6 million, okay? 2010 13.6. And in 2011 17.3. And it started in 2005 as 1.98. So pretty much in 2005 it started at 2 million, kind of roughly, and then it went to 2011 to 17.3. That's 700% increase.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I found here a good definition of sex trafficking in a more professional context. A modern day form of slavery in which a commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such an act is under the age of 18 years old. So a lot of it is minors.
Yep.
Old enough to be my young sister or a young daughter for someone else.
Sex trafficking is actually, according to Fight the New Drug, they generate $99 billion every single year. 99. Pornography generates $97 billion a year. Two numbers is pretty correlated.
And if you thought how many people are
Pretty
involved in sex trafficking, by some estimates, 4.8 million people are trapped or forced into sexual exploitation globally. 4.8 million. Globally. That's still a lot, even if it's globally. Like 8 billion people in the world. 4.8 million is a lot.
It's a huge number.
It's a huge number.
Wow.
It's a huge number.
Yeah, I mean, here's a kind of a real life example. In the Netherlands, investigators calculated the profit generated by 2 sex traffickers from the number of victims. One trafficker had $18,000 per month for 4 victims. per victim. So 4, that's around 130. While the second one has 295,000 in 14 months that 3 women were sexually exploited. It's kind of like investing in stocks. That's how sad it is. Oh, I put money in it. Okay, now I get the profit. Because they're being used.
It's all profit.
Insane.
The whole business is built on exploitation. The whole business. But the connection is that's the majority of the porn available globally.
Yeah.
Why do you... What is the business if there is no porn? You know what I'm saying? Like if porn didn't exist, sex trafficking would be way lower.
And the other way around.
Yes.
And the other way around. They both feel
those are both astonishing facts. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So porn, in some ways, is also prostitution. You're watching prostitution.
Oh, yeah.
Because even if they're not hooked on cocaine or they're forced into it or whatever, but they're getting paid for it, then that's what prostitution is.
Yeah. I mean, here are some facts. That professional performance in pornography or sex trafficked into a hostile environment of sexual exploitation, forced labor, and physical abuse. What you said.
Right.
They can give them drugs, and they are get paid by drugs.
Right. Not even money.
Yeah. And they are physically abused to do so. And then traffickers show pornography to sex trafficking victims to train them and desensitize them to the sex acts they will be forced to perform.
Right. Okay, so let me just take a pause here, right? This is very deep stuff. This is very traumatizing. This might be very upsetting to some people who are listening, right? Mm-hmm. Why are we going this deep into it?
Because, like I said earlier, indirectly, you're taking part of this every time you're supporting them.
Right.
Like, let's think about it this way. Someone who is... I don't know. It's pretty much, it's like you're giving money. You're in war, and you're giving money to the side that's fighting you. That's exactly what you're doing. Right. Even if you don't notice it, even if your intention isn't like that. Right. The reality of the situation is when you go in and you view it, anything, you're supporting them. And when you support them, they're like, all right, we need more we have more viewers. We need more work. What do we do? All right, let's get humans do the work for us.
Right.
Sex trafficking.
Right.
Again, we're not saying that all what is in there is sex trafficked people. That's not the case. Some people go in willingly. And I want to say the word willingly like a little bit conservatively, because some people have no, like, again, quotations, no choice to go in it because of like family problems, money problems, blah, blah, blah. And then they realize, okay, yeah, they wish they have actually worked in a minimum wage job than actually go in the porn industry. But yeah, that's why we're getting deep.
But what we're exactly.
Because indirectly,
So this has turned from just something that I do and I don't harm anybody, right? Like that's usually what you hear.
Exactly.
I'm not harming anybody. This is just my own personal thing. Yeah. You know what? I'll make sure I don't watch anything that is harmful to anybody.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. This is now, you've become we have now become, anybody that watches pornography, as a people, we have now become contributors to this devilish industry.
Yeah.
This is why we're going into these statistics and going into these very horrific details about what porn is really like. We're trying to paint a picture here.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to conclude with some stats about human trafficking too. That 21 million people are exploited in human trafficking. Out of those 21 million people, 5.5 are children, 11.4 are women and girls. 80% of those who have been freed from human trafficking were forced to reenact specific acts of pornography by the people who enslaved them. The majority of these victims are taught how to perform via pornography material.
Right.
So pretty much you get a child and you're going to involve him in child pornography. You make him watch pornography and then he's involved in pornography.
Right,
she's involved. It's nuts. Like you pretty much just took it from every side. I mean, like, hey, what else can I do wrong? Let me do it.
Yeah.
Whatever. These people have no souls. In fact, the average age of people trafficked into prostitution is 12 to 14 years old, and 4 out of 5 will be females.
It's tough to read this stuff.
Through viewing pornography, individuals are tempted to hire sex workers in order to fulfill the unrealistic scenes created in pornographic films. It means that pornography is not only perpetuating human trafficking, but it's incentivizing the use of children in pornography and human traffic in order to draw in a large profit. It is literally destroying the lives of children and adults. We're going to keep it at that.
Let me read this. Let me just say this. This is a little quote to put things into perspective, okay? This is from the same article that we're reading right here. So it's in conclusion. So, would you buy from a company? I'm just reading what it says. Would you buy from a company if you knew that some, but not all, of their products were made with child labor? Would you support a store that's abused some, but not all, of their employees? How can it be okay to say that porn is okay because participants give their consent, when we know for a fact that some, probably much more than you think, do not? So this is just a little thing to put it into perspective. If your favorite donut store knows that your donuts are made by whipping employees, literally whipping them on their back or whatever, would you still go and pay for these donuts and enjoy them the same way? Probably not. Now it's becoming it's become sour now, right? Or your favorite toy store, all the toys are made by 5-year-old kids who are starved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, this is the same perspective of watching pornography. The participants don't have their consent more often than not.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's I hope it's been eye-opening, and I hope this is shared to be something educational, eye-opening, and also motivating to anybody that is struggling to find help, even if it's not readily available to search, and to maybe parents out there that want to know a little bit more.
Sure. I think that was the best part that a lot of people were waiting for and asked us to get there. Just like, how do we talk to our kids about porn and sex,
right?
Or porn specifically. And I hope that helped. We're gonna be having, hope, fingers crossed, hoping that we can get like a professional here, for an episode, a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or like a counseling, any of those jobs that would help actually tell the parents how to talk about sex, the age appropriate and all that. And that'll be helpful.
Looking forward to it.
Anyways, that would conclude our episode tonight from Incognito. If you like the episode, if you think it was beneficial, please hit the like button. That really, really helps us. And subscribe if you're new. And if you're not new and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to reach out for the first 100 subscribers, so make sure to share it on SoundCloud. You never know who needs to hear this message. Again, we're reminding you that we have Spotify, so go ahead and listen to it. That's going to be our newest platform. Also, check out our social media platforms, our website links, and they'll all be left down in the description. Reminder that this podcast is brought to you by Pagori Productions. They have various content, so check their link down in the description. And as always, we will leave you with the ultimate thought, that the ultimate way to freedom is to see God. Because as He promised, when we cry, He hears. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Talk to all of you next time. Have a blessed day.
Bye everybody.